Hey, everybody. This is my first official live stream on my own, and you're all here, if there is anybody here anyway, so who knows. But we're going to wait and see if Julio's going to pop in. And before that happens, we're going to go and watch the...
Oh, Joey, you got this.
The Joe Biden talking.
Folks,
We're going to stream this.
let me ask you.
It did. This is great. That was my point. That was my point.
Let me ask you.
That was my point.
Are you
Exactly,
ready to
Joe.
vote for freedom?
Are you ready to vote for another 20 million illegal?
Are you ready to vote for democracy and for America?
How is this democracy? You were forced out. No one voted.
Let me ask you. Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz?
That seems a little crazy, actually, that they're talking about democracy and there was no votes at all to elect anybody. Seems kind of nuts. I don't know. Let's see.
President, Vice President of the United States.
This is great.
My fellow Democrats, my fellow Americans, nearly 4 years ago, in winter, on the steps of the Capitol, on a cold January day,
We were crossing the
I raised my
Potomac
right hand
in a rowboat.
and I swore an oath to you and to God to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution
And when I let our
and to
borders wide
faithfully
open
execute the office of the President of the United States.
by destroying every good policy.
In front of me, in front of me was a city surrounded by the National Guard. And behind me, a Capitol.
I couldn't find you on Twitter. I was like, where'd you go?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. No, I just shot you a DM. What's this idiot saying? How's he doing? Is he
He's just started
medicated?
talking. He's talking about how this is great for democracy, what they're doing, even though there was no votes. No votes. No votes whatsoever. Just no votes. No votes, no votes, no votes. You know. I feel it's kind of like
This is some fucked up Republican shit.
I agree.
you know. So it is what it is.
Well, it looks like they got him doped up pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. This is my first ever live stream that
All
I
right.
did myself. So
Well, there you
trying
go.
to figure out how all this stuff,
It's good,
all
Jim.
this stuff works. So we'll just see
I like
if
the pop-up video, whatever. If you're not around, Dave and I can do one. Dave's not around. Low watermark, Rumble, YouTube.
yeah. We just have to make sure that it doesn't get like you know. So we'll just have to try and keep it the way it is, you know.
I'll handle the Rumble part of things.
Yeah. So we'll see. So we have this to watch. Where are we at here? We have this, and then we could always check in with EVS and see
Just
what
2
he's
weeks
doing.
before, I've been overrun by a violent mob. What I knew then, from the bottom of my heart, that I knew now,
That I knew that.
there is no place
in
in
English.
America for political violence. None.
What? Look outside the fucking venue, asshole.
I just want to point out, you know, small little thing, fact maybe, that the fucking country was kind of founded a little bit on political violence.
Correct.
Just a little bit.
And if only we had a taste of what it would be like if Trump was president. Oh, wait a minute. He was president for 4 years. It was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Unless it's
Cannot
Minnesota.
say you love your country only
Unless it's
when
from
you
BLM.
win.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. I want to hear what he said there.
You love your country only when you win.
No, that's it. Okay. All right. Look, he's got to get his Joey isn't out there.
In
No
that
cheered
moment,
anything.
I wasn't looking to the past.
What about 4 years earlier when
I
Trump
was looking
won?
to the
And everyone's,
future.
"You're not my president."
I spoke of the work at hand, the moment we had to meet. It was, as I told you then, a winter of peril and possibility. Of peril and possibility. We're in the grip.
Actually, that's not what he said. He said it was going to be a winter of death and despair, didn't he?
Right.
I think I remember that.
If I remember correctly, it was a little more negative, but okay.
Yeah.
We're all gonna die in the right.
Now he wants to be all like,
But that's what the Democrats do every 4 years.
yeah, you know,
It turns into a fucking Baptist church every 4 years.
yeah, yeah.
His
That's,
wind
you
up
know,
is starting to wind down, I think.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I did send the invite out to some other people.
Mm.
You know, like
Of a once-in-a-century
we'll see,
pandemic.
You know,
I guess they stopped writing
if
repeats.
anyone wants to
Historic
come by.
joblessness.
If you can't be with the one you
Call
love,
for
what
racial
will you do?
justice long overdue. Clear and present threats to our very democracy.
From Ultra MAGA.
Thank you.
What threat?
It's like they're all praising me. It's so nice. I'm feeling like just gushy inside.
Yet I believed then,
Stop. Let him talk.
and I believe now, that progress was and is possible.
You
Justice
guys never
is achievable,
stand for me. We love Joe.
and our best days
What
are not
happened?
behind us;
Where's the love?
they're before us. Now it's summer. The winter has passed. And with a grateful heart, I stand before you now on this August night to report that democracy has prevailed.
Oh, that's it. That's it. We just don't. You just don't have
And this shit
the
is
candidate you
super
voted for.
Democracy
way he's
has
talking-
delivered,
It's weird.
and now democracy must be preserved. You've heard me say it before. We're facing an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine the fate of our nation and the world for decades to come. That's not hyperbole. I mean it literally. We're in a battle for the very soul of America. I ran for president in 2020 because of what I saw in Charlottesville in August of 2017. Extremists
Oh, for fuck's
coming
sake.
out of the woods, carrying torches,
Thank
their
you,
veins
Pam.
bulging from their necks, carrying Nazi swastikas, and chanting the
No, they
same
weren't.
exact anti-Semitic.
I didn't see anybody carrying swastikas. Did
No.
you?
No.
That seems fucking ridiculous.
This is right. This is like Leni Riefenstahl. This is triumph of the will, the Democrats. It's disturbing.
This is
And the fact
bad,
that
man.
anybody with an IQ over 20 would vote for them is really disturbing. It's sad. I don't
Very
get it.
disturbing.
I don't get it. All right, let's let the Fuhrer keep.
Vile.
What are you
It was
talking
heard in
about?
Germany in the early
That's
30s.
what your party's doing today.
Neo-Nazis, white supremacists,
Lunatic.
the Ku Klux Klan,
He's the same lunatic he was
so
4 years ago.
emboldened by a president then in the White House that they saw as an ally. They didn't even bother to wear their hoods.
Amen.
Hate was on the march in America. Old ghosts,
And now it's on the march in
new
Chicago.
garments,
Now it's in the march in Chicago.
stirring up the old visions, stoking the oldest fears, giving oxygen
This is a good
to
point.
the oldest
CX.
forces that they long sought to tear apart America. In the process, a young woman was killed.
By our
When I
cops.
contacted her mother, I asked about what happened. She told me.
You killed her.
When the president was asked, what he thought had happened. Donald Trump said, and I quote,
When the president was
"There are
asked,
very fine people on both sides."
oh, he's
That's a
not
My
fucking
that.
lie.
That's what he said.
That's an outright fucking lie that's been disproved by fucking Snopes, and everybody says that that's bullshit.
But do you think any one of the idiots in the crowd here takes 2 minutes to look into it? No. They don't care. This is sad. Very sad. But people will eat this shit up.
Well, Bob, I hope everything is okay with your dog. They are man's best friend. So
Thoughts and prayers.
hope thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Oh, he's still repeating this lie.
That is
He's
what he
still
said and what
repeating
he
this
meant.
lie. Oh my
That's what I
God.
realized. Had listened to the admonition of my dead son. I could not stay in the sidelines.
Oh, Biden.
So I ran.
Oh, Biden. Oh, Biden.
So I ran so far away. I couldn't get away.
I'd like to see him with that dude's haircut. Doing the flock of seagulls thing. Unbelievable. So there's Panzers coming out of the woods in Charlottesville, apparently. And
Panzers.
thousands of KKK members with hoods. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to get your channel struck.
No, you're fine, dude. I don't give a fuck.
It's fucking ridiculous. There are no Nazis. There
was no.
There's
there was some weird dudes with tiki torches. I saw that, but that was like separate from the people protesting the statue, right? As far as I know.
yeah, it was. Yep. It was like January 6th. Same thing.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
whatever. I mean, I
No,
saw
they-
Minneapolis on fire. That was a
Yeah.
problem.
You know.
And
Someone
then the
needs to
asshole
come-
that Kamala Harris picked as her running mate just let, like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
City's on fire.
Hmm.
Whatever. It's
Yeah.
so
Some-
retarded.
You know, when this is the way I feel.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I like that the Utah thing is right in the middle. I didn't know there were a lot of Democrats in Utah.
There's
Are there?
not. There's not.
No.
Bo Biden told him to run.
Because I had no intention of running again.
Dead Bo Biden
I
told him
just
to run.
lost part of my soul.
And brain.
But I ran with a deep conviction in America.
When I led the charge on
I know and believe
the flag on Iwo Jima.
in an America where honesty, dignity, decency still matter. An America where everyone has a fair shot and
Thank you,
hate
Lily.
has no safe harbor.
Unless it's against Ultra MAGA, in which case we need to throw them in chains.
An America where the fundamental creed of this nation, that all of us are created equal, is still very much alive.
Unless you're Ultra MAGA.
And a broad coalition of Americans join with me.
And this is why I silence
81
more
million
people than
voters
anybody
voted for
ever.
us.
Oh,
This is why I
Cool.
engaged.
Time in all of history.
okay. Good.
Press X to doubt that 81 million people voted for you. I mean, even if you
No.
even if you you give somebody saying that you got 81 million votes, those fucking did not come from 81 million individual people. Sorry.
No, you got a couple people doubled up. Got an 8-piece bucket. Vote 4 times. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you think tomorrow, Jim, that people will look back on the speech and really go, "Wow, what an empowering speech he gave"? His swan song.
I thought maybe he's gonna step down. That's what I was watching for, to see if he steps down.
You know, I guess he's not done yet. You never know what's going to happen with him.
Never
His
know.
meds might be running out.
In the worst abuse of First Amendment rights ever.
Because of all of you in this room and others, we came together in 2020 to save democracy.
He looks strong. This is great. The Democrats are all sitting there saying, why is he not our candidate?
As your president, I've been determined
That's a good point.
to keep America moving forward, not going back,
Yeah.
to stand against hate and violence in all its forms.
Because if all I got to say is, because if Kamala Harris is elected,
And if some unlucky accident should befall him, if he should get shot in the head by a police officer, whether he should hang himself in his jail cell or if he's struck by a bolt of lightning. And I'm going to blame some of the people in this room.
Forms
Forward meaning 20 million
to
illegal
be a
aliens.
nation
With a
where we
terrible
not only
economy.
live with but thrive on diversity, demonizing no one, leaving
Except
no one
Ultra-MAGA.
behind.
No, you
Becoming a
demonize
nation
tens of millions of
we profess
Americans.
to be.
That's right, Joe. You tell him.
I also ran.
This is confusing because there's two Joes on the screen.
All right. It's got good Joe, bad Joe.
We'll just call him Good Logic then.
Okay.
You know what's weird is Good Logic is a spitting image of my cousin.
Is that right?
Yeah, like it's insane. Like every time I'm like, man, it sounds like my cousin. I'm like, that's my cousin, Steve.
He's got the house like that in the background. Your cousin?
No. I'm talking about just his
Oh,
the glass, his face. It's just like they could be twins,
Hmm.
doppelgangers.
To rebuild the backbone of America, the middle class.
Oh yeah, who I made broke.
oh, that's
You have no money anymore.
All right.
I made a commitment to you
Oh yeah, to
that I'd
make
be
you
a president
broke,
for all Americans,
make your dollar
whether you
worthless.
voted for me or not.
Unless you were ultra mega.
We have done that. Studies
It is
show
gross.
the major bills we have passed actually delivered more to red states than blue.
It didn't deliver
Because
more
the
to
job of
anyone.
the president is delivered to all of America.
Well, except for white people if you're picking a running mate, but okay.
What do you mean delivered? What?
I don't know. I got triggered when he said middle class. I'm the fucking middle class. I'm the asshole who's working, supporting all of your fucking voters, my ex fucking wives, I'm the guy that's holding this fucking country together. And this guy's got the audacity to come out here and say he's fighting for the middle class. Oh, fuck him. I will say though, he's I don't know why they take his nomination away. He seems all right.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have done something to juice him up.
I guess I need some of that.
And yet
Because of
somehow you made
you.
all of America worse.
And I'm not exaggerating because of you.
That's why I made all of
We've had
America
one of the most
crap.
extraordinary 4 years of progress ever. Period.
Ooh.
That's a great catch, Nose Joe. Great
When I
catch.
say we, I mean Kamala and me.
Oh yeah. That's right. Tie her into your policies.
Just think about it.
Tie her in. Just rope her on
COVID
in.
no longer
Rope her
controls
on
our
in.
lives.
COVID didn't ever control my life. It was the government fucking telling people what they couldn't do. COVID didn't do a fucking thing.
Right. I work from home. I was good.
We got
Whatever.
from economic crisis to the strongest economy in the entire world.
Bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
What are you talking about?
Record 16 million new jobs.
No
Record small business growth.
record inflation.
Record inflation. You know, they laid off, they forced like 8 to 10 million people out of work, if not more, when they shut everything down.
Mhm.
You know, probably more. And then they say, okay, you can go back to work. And then they claim that as job growth. That doesn't work that way.
Well, what happened was the companies figured out they could do without those people since they couldn't work. So they're like, well, we're not going to hire them back.
I mean, that's like the government coming into your house and taking your TV, okay, or going to your bank and taking all your money, and then they give you back your money and they say, we gave away all this money.
Yep.
They take everyone's TVs out of their houses,
Yep.
and then they come and go give TVs, and we gave everyone a TV. Well, no, you took it first, so you
Why
take
don't
it
you
away to give it back.
Why do you think people don't understand this?
I think a lot of people are stupid. I think the vast majority. I mean, think about it. What do you think the average IQ is of the American populace?
In 2024, it keeps getting
Yeah.
lower.
Lower. I mean, like, 85,
90?
90, So that means half the country is dumber than that.
That's when I talk to my son. My son comes over, we have dinner or whatever, and we talk politics. And he's like, Trump's got to win. He's going to. I'm like, no, he's not going to win. And I told him it's because the goal of these people, this asshole and the commies that support him, are to drag the IQ down and get them to suck on their teeth so that they will vote for them to keep them in power. It's not that complicated. It takes 30 seconds to explain what they're doing. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk. I'm done.
Nah, it's
Yes,
good.
the country is getting dumber, for sure.
Definitely. Oh,
Record high stock market, record high 401ks, wages up, and inflation down, way down, and continuing to go down.
Oh,
No.
really? Really? Are any of these? See, this is why they only have delegates there, because
Smallest
these jackasses don't
Racial
realize
wealth gap in 20 years.
that everything costs 50% more
And yes,
today.
we
True.
both know we have more to do, but we're moving in the right direction. More Americans have peace of mind that comes from having health insurance. More Americans have health insurance today than ever before in American history.
See, okay, I'm sorry, Jim. Could you hit pause on that? Because
And after,
yeah.
that's what
as a
I
young
work in that field. The reason more people have health insurance is because there's more Mexicans that have Medicaid. That was it. That's what I had to say. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, what's going on right now is I think we're spending close to $900 billion a year on medical and housing and food for all the elite to come in.
Mhm.
We can't afford it. I don't want people to starve. I don't want people to live out on the street, but holy fuck, man. We are spending so much money, and people don't realize that money is causing inflation, because you're giving, the government is printing the money and giving it to these people to buy the things and use the products that everyone in America has to use. So it's costing everything more. There's only a limited, you know what I mean? There's a supply and demand thing. The demand is greater and the supply hasn't gotten enough anymore. Wages have stagnated because there's all these people coming in that are willing to work for $15 an hour or $10 an hour doing whatever job it is. So there's no reason to raise wages.
It expands out. Like you come into the country, you don't put anything in, and you get stuff out. So to be a doctor, there's no money in it anymore because Medicaid doesn't pay shit for your practice. So you import doctors in who are happy with the shit that they make here compared to what they made where they came from, India, Iraq, around wherever the fuck. It just trickles down, and it's people like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the savior of America, but I still work. I've worked my whole life. And when he says, well, more people have, I'm like, what's so hard about getting health insurance? I have a job. I get insurance through my job. It's not that difficult. They're
Not at all.
they're just dumbing shit down to the lowest common denominator, which is who is voting for them.
young senator beginning to fight for 50 years to give Medicare the power to negotiate low prescription drug prices. We finally beat Big Pharma.
No, you didn't.
Medicaid
you
patients
didn't.
don't pay
3
anything
years
for the
from now,
medication. So
There's
okay,
3 drugs that they're
Guess
saying they're going to
who
bring down the prices
cast
on,
the
but they don't know what
tie-breaking
they are.
vote? Vice
We beat
President,
the
soon to
Big
be
Pharma.
President Kamala Harris.
Trump beat Big Pharma when he mandated that they had to match their lowest price
Now
in
it's the
America
law of the land.
worldwide. And he ripped that
Instead
up.
of paying $400 a month for insulin, seniors with diabetes will pay $35 a month. The law we passed already includes, starting in January, every senior's total prescription cost can be capped at $2,000 no matter how expensive the drugs they have.
This is no joke to me. It's true.
What we don't focus on, and our Republican friends don't seem to understand, our reforms don't just save seniors money, they save the American taxpayers money. You know what we did?
How is the government spending money saving the taxpayers money? How does that work?
it makes no sense. And like we were talking about, only a country with a declining IQ would believe that. I'm the one paying for it. So, it's
I mean, Biden is just,
He disrespected the Bing.
you know,
don't disrespect the Bing. He is
No.
disrespecting the Bing.
Don't disrespect the Bing.
Just past saved, it saved $160 billion
What are you talking
over the
about?
next decade. That's not hyperbole.
We don't even know what you're
Because
talking about.
Medicare no longer has to pay those exorbitant prices to the big pharma.
There he goes,
But look,
running out of juice.
oh, thank you, Kamala, too.
So it's very clear, by the way.
What-
It's very
What are they chanting?
I don't know, but he keeps hyping up like Kamala had something to do with anything, which clearly she didn't.
Yeah. She was behind the border, you know. She was
Infrastructure in
crossing
the
over
world.
Oh, it's bizarre. Yeah.
Donald Trump
sadly he is.
promised Infrastructure Week every week for 4 years. And he never built a damn thing.
Go for a wall.
We wanted to build a wall. You blocked them at every turn. But,
But now,
okay.
because
Hey, Dan, I sent you the link on Twitter if you want to jump on if you're bored. You know, just saying.
I'm starting to get a
What?
feel bad.
Why?
No, I'm kidding. I'm only joking.
Why would you feel bad? No, I'm just saying. I
I'm
don't know.
joking. Jim.
I don't even know what I'm doing here. This is the first time I've ever been running a live
It's a
stream.
stream. This is just like
Because
BTN.
it's
Except Dave's
done.
not here.
Yeah, but I
remember
can,
we
I
told
can
we couldn't
space
get
out
it
when
done.
he's
Remember
running
when
it
we came
and
in
be
all
doing
this,
other
we
stuff.
couldn't get anything passed.
Now
We
I'm
gotta pay
looking over-
attention.
And you
But
got
right
I have to pay
now,
attention
we're
to
giving
everything that's
America
going
an
on. It's just
infrastructure
rough.
decade, not week.
I have to say,
yeah,
I don't really
making
like
us broke.
We're modernizing
How so?
our roads, our bridges, our ports, our airports, our
Oh, I
trains,
guess
our buses.
paving over the same roads is
Removing every
modernizing.
lead pipe from schools and homes. So
Man,
What are you
they've been
talking
doing
about?
this lead pipe thing for fucking 40 years now. I mean, I remember in the 80s them saying they're going to remove all the pipes, and then in the 90s, and then in the 2000s, and then in the 2010s, and now in the 2020s. They're going to, holy fuck, man, that's a lot of lead pipes.
If they want to have somebody come up and talk about lead pipes, they should get Kamala up there talking about pipe.
Yeah, yeah, she knows about laying pipe.
All the pipes she's moved.
Yeah.
every child can drink clean water. We're providing affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where they live, not unlike what Roosevelt did with electricity. And so much more.
We're introducing indoor plumbing.
We are uniting the country. We're growing our economy.
I know. I think he's running
We're
out of
improving our
steam.
quality of life. And we're building a better America.
We're going to start talking about building aqueducts in a minute.
He isn't saving $16 billion a
That's who we
year,
are.
please. Please.
How can we be the strongest nation in the world without leading the world in science and technology?
Yeah, I'm getting worried.
After years
I'm getting
of
worried.
putting 90% of
I'm getting worried too. Like I don't know, man. He
I was
seems
saying
like
he's
ready
starting to run out of steam.
run out of steam.
Yeah, a little bit. Your guy's good. Who's this guy? He's really good.
Oh, this is Joe Neerman. He's a lawyer. I found him through Nick, actually.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
good guy.
entertaining.
He's a New York lawyer.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, he's a good guy who supports Trump all the way.
of our semiconductor chips from abroad.
Wait a minute. He's going to take all the women's chips? He's going to take all the chips from abroad? Well, that's fucking misogynistic, Joe.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. Broad should control their own chips.
Yeah.
It's
Let
not
me
right.
ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question. He's going to take them from the broads?
Which America invented those chips. Our Chips and Science Act meant that private companies from around the world are now investing literally tens of billions of dollars to build new chip factories right here in America.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Does he understand why we defend Taiwan from China? The main reason?
Does he not?
All the microchips come from there. You can't let.
But do you know why? Because
no, I
the
don't.
EPA won't let them do the shit here. Because it's very dirty. It pollutes water.
Oh, that old gag.
Import products and export jobs.
But don't you
Now we
understand?
export American products and create American jobs.
Okay, I'm going to pause and just let you know.
Okay, let us
Obviously,
know.
he's lying. Obviously, he's making this up. Obviously, he's full of crap. no one cares. No one's going to remember this speech 10 minutes from now.
True.
So don't worry about it. Don't let it aggravate you. Just look at how relatively strong he looks and recognize that they don't want Kamala. They wanted a healthy Joe Biden. You should be don't let his lies get to you, because
That's
you're
smart.
not going to have to hear them ever again.
Yeah.
Union president history, and I accept it. It's a fact.
There you go. There you go.
Walk a picket line.
I don't want to say anything bad about the
And
union.
be
So.
labeled most pro-union president in history, and I accept it. It's a fact.
He did. He did force the railroad union, though, to go off a strike and back to work.
I think it's because I know, Jim, you're a electrician. My ex-father-in-law, lifetime electrician, union was great. I was an IT guy growing up. There's no fucking union for us, so I was always maybe jealous that you all had a union and I actually had to do my fucking job. I mean, so to speak.
That's
Including
literally what
Hispanic
Trump did.
institutions and tribal colleges. We kept our commitment to provide more student relief than ever by lifting the burden of helping millions of families so they could get married, start a family, buy a home.
What the fuck was that?
But that was a
Lifting
jump.
the
Yeah,
Family, buy a home, and begin to. We're making college a hell of a lot more affordable. Increasing Pell Grants by $900. Over $15 billion to HBCUs. Minority servants.
That's what Trump did. That's
including
literally what
Hispanic
Trump did.
institutions and
Yep.
tribal colleges. We kept our commitment to provide more student relief than ever by lifting the burden of helping millions of families so they could get married, start a family, buy a home, and begin to build family wealth and contribute to the community.
With that
Oh,
fist pumping, it really sounds.
Yeah, I don't know.
he's saying if somebody
Trump
doesn't
continues to lie.
owe so much money to their college that they signed up for, knowing how much they would have to pay back, they could take that money and marry somebody and have children, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, to me, if you sign a fucking contract and agree to pay something back, you pay it back. Oh, it's crazy. That's just me, though.
That would be the way it would go.
Lie about crime in America. Like everything else,
Blacks.
guess what? On his watch, the murder rate went up 30%, the biggest increase in history.
Not true.
Meanwhile,
Well, you guys let
we
the
made the
city
largest
burn.
investment, Kamala and I, in public safety ever. Now, the murder rate is
When?
falling faster than any time in history.
When did that happen?
Violent
It went up in 21. It went up in 22. It went up in 23, and now it's coming down. So I
Didn't
know,
she
man.
used to throw people in jail all the time? Wasn't that her
yeah,
gig?
for smoking weed and for kids being truant, they would throw the parents in jail.
Hmm.
I don't even know. You know what?
That's when she was Indian, I guess.
Yeah. I want to watch this instead. I don't want to get upset.
Well, let
Not
me
you
say
opening his
one
mouth
thing
to
real
say
quick before you do
shit.
this. I will say my takeaway is why is he not the nominee? I mean, he seemed a little more coherent than Kamala.
Well, they forced him out because he was doing so bad. They did a coup. They
Yeah.
did a coup.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay these guys. Yellow Flash is going to waste even more money on Rippison. I don't know if he is or not. Like, I think he wants to, but maybe does he need to?
I don't know. Does he need to?
Yeah, I just don't get it, man. And meanwhile, he's sitting there going, Ethan, your
Sure,
books
but
are take 4 years. By the way, like these guys are
You know, and that's the thing they always say. One book is this Rainbow the Brood has been a long time. It's way overdue. That's the only one. You
There's
know?
no Cyberfrog comics waiting.
No, Cyberfrog Red Extermination is actually, if you look at the Indiegogo, it's supposed to be out the end of this year. I think December of this year is when it was supposed to be released, and it's going to be late.
Mhm.
Maybe. I don't know.
What takes so long? I don't know.
He's
I'm
doing
just
a bunch of other stuff. He's doing other books. He's done several books in between. You know, he did whatchamacallit, he's doing Elephant, he's doing this other one and the thing, Lynx and Rainbow the Brute, and then he keeps doing these other campaigns where he'll add some extra stuff. Like he did the Dark Harvest campaign. He's doing the this Heartsick Horde Deluxe, and you know, he just needs to get to work, get the books out. But you know,
it's like I like certain bands. Sometimes bands take years to come out with something new.
Yeah,
but
you don't
it's
want
good,
it.
so
Doesn't
I don't.
matter if you rush it out if it's shit.
That's
It's
true.
got to be good, you know. And so far, everything he's done has been really good. You know, I mean, I could just say that you know, stop going to Philly games. Yeah,
Well, he likes the Phillies.
you know, we could say this thing here.
I think the problem is he's on stream all the time,
Yeah.
and people are going,
Yeah.
"Come on, we get a."
You know,
Yeah.
it's very beautiful. The colors just pop off the page. The story is very engaging. It has you feeling for Cyberfrog along with Heather and her daughter, going right along with them as they go on their journey to try and save the planet from the Vispus invasion. I think Tim Van Sciver did a great job refining this character from where it started back in the 90s. Blood Honey and all its he did because in the 90s, if you look at the old 90s comics, it was more cartoonish and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was like a over the top cartoony type of thing. And now it's more of a superhero type comic now.
If there was, can you recommend a channel that I could watch to learn about comics, so I know kind of what you guys are talking about?
Yeah, Comics Explained.
Okay,
He's great.
like Marvel,
You know.
DC, all that kind
Yeah,
of
Marvel,
stuff.
DC. He breaks down stuff. He's got all types of things. Like he's always doing stuff about the movies. Like whenever a movie, like the movie will come out, and then he'll show you where they got the story from in the comic books. You know, so
All right, I like Gambit in the movie I just saw, the Deadpool. So
Yeah.
you'd have a video on that.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Oh, all right, sweet.
Variant covers, along with Wreck Planet and its variant covers, are available today at the Cyberfrog eBay store. Cyberfrog 3 Red Extermination, along with Rainbow the Brute and the Fearsome comic, also from All Caps Comics, are available at Indiegogo if it's something you're interested in. Thanks for stopping by. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Jim, and I'm going to tell you what I think about comics. Okay.
You're
I-
sitting there like
Unironically,
you can't-
love it. It's different. I like it. I like your thing, style you got.
Well, I'm just learning how to do it. You know,
You did
I'm
it
doing
yourself?
The best I can. Yeah, I did everything myself.
I think it's cool.
You know.
I think if you got better, it would look like everybody else. It's almost better
Well,
that you don't know what you're doing.
Well,
you know?
I'm trying. You know, I mean, slowly I've been doing different things with each video, trying to make it a little different, a little better. And
Mhm.
who knows? Maybe I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, I don't know. It says my Wi-Fi is. Am I lagging or something?
No, you sound
Getting
good.
getting an alert saying.
like don't even compare what you're doing to what I'm doing. I hate to say it, like, but you do not operate on the same level that I do.
Well,
You know,
I
can't
never
do
said I
comics
did.
the way that
Ethan,
I can.
Jesus
Your comics
Christ.
don't look like mine. Don't sit there and bust out some piece of shit and say I got this thing out.
Well,
in
I'm
4
doing the
months.
best I
Where-
can.
how come- because it looks
Talking
like shit.
directly to you.
Well, I'm
It's
fucking
worth,
sorry.
looks
I'm
like it
doing the
took 4
best I
months.
can.
All right, hold on a second. Let me see. We got some more backers while I sit here and brag about myself. Jameson, thank you for $84. Appreciate you. Matt, thank you for $55. I appreciate you too. Thank you, Steven, $55 as well. As the Rainbow the Brute campaign gets closer and
Yes,
closer
everybody get out there and back Rainbow the
to
Brute.
$180,000.
Yes, we want to hit 200,000. I want that frosty mug of honeysuckle ale.
Yeah.
Yes, got to have it.
Willie Kerns is
Got a
kicking
ways
a
to
dead
go.
horse. Who's next?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You know.
Just kicking a dead horse. These guys
No.
are trying to cancel me
No.
right now. All
What?
right, let me watch.
They're trying
let me
to
watch one of
cancel
these
you.
videos. I'm gonna watch.
Do you know who I am? I'm Mo Green. I made my bones when you were going out with cheerleaders.
One of these.
How
All
dare
right,
they?
Katie did made a video compilation. Katie did made a video compilation
Oh God.
called Nerdrotic Moments,
Oh.
and I don't know what this is, but It's 12 minutes. Let's see it.
I like to, when it comes to the Mylars, I actually like to put the fullbacks into the Mylar and then just do a bunch of them. Then we get the comic out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you wear gloves.
We like it like that. Oh yeah. I like it like that. I like it
So
like
creepy.
that. Oh yeah. I like it like that.
Shut the fuck up, fat man.
Perfect.
Oh dear.
You've never had sex. Look at everybody. I hate these people so much, dude. There's no possible way that heel versus babyface has ever had sexual intercourse, right? There's just no way. I don't believe it. He could tell me that he has. I think he'd be lying. There's no way he's known the touch of a woman. Hold on a second. You already showed us Hillary. Ethan, why are you doing this? What am I supposed to do? This is the stuff that we look at here. I know Hillary was pretty gross, but Rahmat Gulati, thank you for 400 rupees.
Camera was on the whole time.
Let's watch economics and comics by
You
Ethan
can tell
again.
shit.
Yeah, we should watch that.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
bye, guys.
See ya. He's shrinking.
Jim, I don't
Right
get
before
as
our eyes.
deal.
Just ahead now.
Ah, you got a nice one on. I got a Yaira one on. Your boy. Too bad
You know
Mola
what?
can't wear shirts since he's a massive
Sorry, that's
tentacles. True.
Well, he's
Hang
got
on
a
a
shirt.
second.
It's just he's got little holes for the tentacles.
Yeah.
Eric sent him a custom Isom shirt. No, this goes really well with my Padre hat.
I'm messaging Gary about
We're gonna
this,
lose.
man. It's like the Snyder sort of posts, they're all just waning. There's barely any engagement on it. And
You know what? That like Padre hat thing, that was like, I think that was him taking a shot at me again. And you know what? Fuck the Padres. Seriously. Fuck the Padres. You think the Padres, like, what are you pointing at me for, dude? My team is the Phillies. Hold on a second. Let me see where the Padres are right now.
Not right. Well,
I mean, they can't be doing that great. Padres.
Well, the Phillies are the top team in the league at the moment, so clearly they're not.
Padres. All right, second place National League West. Second place National Padres, 560. You faggots.
it's like, like two people interacting, like, yeah.
It has certainly changed. Yeah, there's no defending it at this point, even. Well, maybe some of the
You
Snyder
think we're
Cut
gonna
fans
play
are
the Yankees?
understanding there was a giant slap to their face too. They were just using the momentum that was created authentically. However, people want whatever happened later, it was created authentically. There was a lot of people who really liked it, and then they decided to use you for a horrible Netflix series.
Well, and it could be that they're having a bit of a Star Wars moment of realizing it's not just the primary creator. They needed a team. There's a team of people that made the magic happen, right?
Mhm.
You guys know I don't particularly enjoy his DC outings. However, I can admit they're far better than Rebel Moon. Like,
Yes.
that's what the fuck that was. So,
Well, that's because he's got better source material to call upon.
well, there's that. But there's also people he was working with, right? But I'm guessing he doesn't have as much anymore. I don't know.
And also the press and some of the casting and some of the messaging in Rebel Moon reeked of Snyder just being desperate not to be associated with Geeks and Gamers. So that was it.
It's pretty great when geeks and gamers do not want to be associated with Zack Snyder.
How the
That's
tables
pretty
have turned.
bold. Yeah.
Yeah, that would happen.
Turns have tabled.
No, that was that whole thing. Zack Snyder went on to Geeks and Gamers and said, basically, I told you to take that off my charity. I don't want to, be associated with whatever. And
Well, he was only on there because that football player was there, right?
yeah, I think he's dead now. I think he died.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
what do you think Jeremy should have done there? I mean, Jeremy kind of
I don't know. I mean, I would
Golf
think
shoot.
if someone, I mean, I would hope if somebody came on and treated me like that, that I would be like, go fuck yourself and
Yeah.
kick them off the stream. But I don't know.
because I listened to it live. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Dan, this guy Dan Snyder, wrong Snyder, Zack Snyder came on it, and he just started. Yeah, it was rude on his part, and they should have called him out.
I don't know. To me, the only Snyder is the handyman. So, you know what they should have did? They should have called.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. These men promptly escaped from maximum security stockade to the Los Angeles underground. Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
That's who you
You
need.
know-
The A-Team.
I've never watched one episode of the A-Team.
What?
it wasn't. I don't know. I know. I've lived a sheltered life, but that wasn't a show I was into. So I have a question for you. So, Az, who used to be somewhat entertaining, right? I think anyway, his old channel, right?
Yeah.
He lost all this weight, went to the gym. He's trying to get good, as they say. But he
Does
can't
he look
run.
like he's lost a lot of weight in this picture, though?
I don't know. I mean, I can't talk, but I think it looks like his head is shrunk.
Is that how it works? You lose weight on your head?
That's not how I used to work out. No, that's not how it worked for me. I think he needs a drink, chill out a little bit. God bless.
That's what happened there.
They're like, Jeremy, what do you think of Rebel movies? Like, we're not associated. You know, that's how it's all
Right.
too there.
Unrated. It'll be called there's an unrated version. out there.
Some Spurgaloid in chat says that why don't you talk about what you like? This is on caps instead of crying about everything. Well, there's three guys here.
Sorry,
First of all,
I meant the national
one
championship.
of
I
us
caught my
didn't like
mistake.
it.
I've been
One of
drinking.
us really liked it, and the other one thought it was all right. Quite liked it.
Bob Rogers,
So,
thank you. One membership.
I don't know
Appreciate
what
you.
fucking dick you've got in your ears, but maybe take your dicks out of your ears.
Yeah, you might be new, but this is like what we do.
Or retarded.
No, you might be new. And I'll never forget my Endgame review because people go, "You really hated it?" I'm like, "No, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. It just had some really
never watched
bad
this
things in it."
much
And it was,
Gary
like
before.
Infinity War is amazing. It's an amazing movie if you go back and watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Infinity War is much better than Endgame. I agree.
That's what most people think, right?
Yeah. Endgame was just like, what?
Stick the landing.
Just the way they did the things, like what they did, all the women, like how somehow all the women got together to go fight all at the same time. Like how did that happen? In this huge battle with thousands of people. It just didn't make a lot of sense.
Right. These broads show up and fix everything.
Civil War is pretty damn. Civil War, amazing movie. Winter Soldier. And
I know Mona doesn't like that one.
It's okay.
I love Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's fucking dope.
There are scenes
It's
in Winter
my
Soldier I
personal
love.
favorite one.
See, everyone says that, and I didn't like Winter Soldier.
That was a Captain America movie, right?
Yeah, the Winter Soldier one. Yeah.
Were there better Captain America movies than that?
Yeah, the Civil War.
Oh, I thought that was an Avengers movie.
No, it was Captain America or was it Avengers Civil War?
I saw Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 and Doctor Strange, and that's it. That's all I know.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Absolutely dope.
I fell asleep during Winter Soldier. That was some shit, dude. That was nonsense. I think I saw that movie.
Oh,
at
see,
Wizard
he agrees with me. Ethan agrees with me.
There you go.
World premiere party. And I was like,
movie. And dude, that's what. Oh my god, that's what the Winter
long.
Soldier's
These
supposed to
movies
look
are
like.
too
He
long.
looked so his costume was perfect, even with his COVID mask.
Oh yeah,
that's what he was wearing. He looks fucking great in that, and it's like he's just looked worse as time has gone on. It's like no, I liked it, but it's just what we do. We talk about film, we break stuff down.
Yeah.
We get our nitpicks out. This is
you don't talk about film, you talk about superhero movies. Let's be honest. You're gonna call that film. We talk about film. We talk about film. We break it down. You talk about film, or do you talk about superhero popcorn movies and obsess over them and get angry about them and cry about them? Which one?
Well,
Yeah, you
isn't
guys
he
go see,
doing the same
Kung
thing
Fu?
though, Jim?
Tommy's review says
Who, Ethan?
Isn't his whole gimmick like ragging on people, which I'm good
that
with.
just I think that just well, he goes back and forth. Like he goes through spurts where he rags on people and then he doesn't, but he's just doing what his chat and audience wants, really.
That's fair.
He did
I
say
guess
he liked
it's the question of why do you want to do a stream? Do you want to talk about things that you want to talk about and hope people want to watch, or do you want to talk about shit that you think people want to watch? Whether you,
I don't know. I just want to talk
right.
about stuff that I find interesting and hope that other people might find it interesting too.
Yep. We don't rely on streams to pay rent.
Bills, so yeah.
So these guys do.
Uncle E, yes, our Phils we're having trouble. My girlfriend who lives in Philly told me every time they're in the World Series, an economic crash happens. Not sure if their wins factor in. We know we're right on the verge of that. These guys are not going to see film; they're going to see superhero popcorn movies. Oh, we're discussing the intricacies and the layered nuance of King Kong versus Godzilla Part 2.
Now let's talk about the Snyder Cut.
Cinema.
I was just gonna say, I went in expecting to love this film. I thought it was gonna be easy, like because I adore Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. It's the easiest shit to get me to like.
Yeah,
well, you're letting the echo chamber down. Okay,
Hold on a second now.
Dang it. No,
All
Be right back.
Okay.
Get something here. We got some more backers. Wow, Brian, thank you for $140. Thank you, Johnny, for $77 on the Rainbow the Brute action figure campaign. We refresh it, and we have crossed 179. We are heading towards 180. We are $1,000 away from $180,000 and hitting that stretch goal. James Kuhn. To me, JDA makes it sound like he is a martyr and on some crusade against woke culture. I think we are getting to the point where woke is dying naturally, and the Zeros and others could have filled the void with new IP. Woke dying. Is woke dying? I don't know if woke is dying. I think maybe the idea. See, woke is just like woke is just the symptom of the radical left having control of everything. Woke being like, hey, you must pay attention. Everything's racist and sexist. Everything is bigoted and homophobic. So we have to balance that out by, making changes in media to sort of advantage certain groups of people. I mean, is that going away? Like maybe it is, but they're just going to replace it with something else, something far worse, because the leftists are still in control of things and still using media to promote evil. So, woke is dying. Maybe certain ideas are becoming unfashionable, but they'll be replaced with something far worse. JDA likes to pretend he's a martyr, and nobody knows who JDA is. Like people who know JDA have a kind of a bad feeling about him. My thing with JDA is that he's a destructive fellow, and I don't think he cares that much. I think he pretends to care, and it's good to just kind of have him where you can see him. He's done some really fucked up things to Comicsgate, like really fucked up. Strange Signal says JDA is a modern day Ronin / at whoever because you have no lord, no purpose, nothing to devote to the future but notions of the past. A used dog. Wow, that's heavy. But I agree with you. Like, I don't think he's like, does JDA care about Comicsgate? No, he doesn't. He doesn't like comics. He doesn't like comic book fans. He's making comics because that allows him to have a voice within the only relevant movement that he has access to for the right. Comicsgate is that. I mean, Comicsgate is still here. Everybody knows what Comicsgate is. It has a Wikipedia page, okay? People know what Comicsgate is. They talk about it. They want it gone. So, you want to be a part of it. I understand it's like there's some people who are like,
I just want
to be a part of it because it feels like Ethan is in charge of shit. Listen, fine. Go away then. It's it. This is it. This is what people care about. This is the only thing that they're aware of. Mark Waid is afraid of Comicsgate. Heather Antos still has PTSD over Comicsgate. All these people are fully aware of us. And that's great. Like all the PR work is already done. So there are people who want to take control of it or destroy it so that it isn't the only thing that's there, but it just isn't going to work. Because I'm here. I'm a determined motherfucker. Like I'm here. Like the reason why I'm here in Comicsgate and I'm not going to ever give up on Comicsgate is because I was.
Do you know anything about MK Ultra?
I've heard of it. I know a little bit about it.
All right. Well, here we go. We're going to learn about MK
Watch
Ultra.
out. I'm going to bust some John Teeter on you in a
I know
minute.
you've heard this many times, that there are people who say that we, with regard to the CIA, are waging a secret war with an invisible government.
Imagine a secret government program where unsuspecting citizens, including soldiers, patients, prisoners, and more, were drugged without their knowledge.
As far as I know, this stuff has all been proven to be true.
Yep.
It's been all fleshed out and papers came out. I think a lot of stuff came out in the with the Pentagon Papers and then further with the church commissions. So
yeah, that's what I know about this. It's
What if
not
I told you
like,
the
woo-woo.
U.S. government?
this ain't really woo
true.
woo, but it's true woo. It's
Yeah.
true woo.
True.
It's true woo.
Government mixed LSD into something as innocent as Kool-Aid and administered it to children.
I was given a glass of Kool-Aid, and so were the other children. This Kool-Aid was spiked with LSD. It was horrible.
This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's a dark chapter of American history known as MK Ultra.
In the early 1950s, the CIA became convinced that the communists, meaning either someone in the Soviet Union or in communist China, had discovered or was on the brink of discovering the secret of mind control.
Starting in the early 40s, Dr. Cameron used sleep-induced comas, massive doses of electroshock therapy, LSD, sensory deprivation, forcing patients to listen to hours of recorded messages on tapes.
MK Ultra delved into the darkest corners of human experimentation, pushing the boundaries of ethics and morality.
I mean, there was a bunch of communists in the United States in the 40s and 50s that had infiltrated a lot of the governments. You know, there was communists in FDR's government. There was communists in Truman's government.
I saw an interview with the KGB agent back in the 70s. I can't remember his name.
Yuri Bezanov, I think.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And everything he said they were trying to do is happening.
They're doing it now, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So we think we won the Cold War. I'm not so sure we did.
I don't think we did.
No.
Can you hear me? Is my sound okay?
No, you sound good. Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
We were interested in seeing what effect LSD would have on visual discrimination performance in monkeys and also on memory.
Looks like
But
my
what
neighbor.
is MK Ultra? Who were the people behind it? And how did an accounting mistake unravel the secrets of one of the most infamous programs in intelligence history? Let's uncover the disturbing truth.
And I didn't like all the pills that I was taking. I couldn't swallow them with water because they were always afraid that I wouldn't keep them down.
The story of MK Ultra begins in the early 1950s, a time when the world was gripped by Cold War tensions. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a fierce competition for global supremacy, and the fear of communism was at an all-time high. Within the CIA, concerns grew that the Soviets were developing mind control techniques, an idea that was terrifying to American leaders.
You think they were terrified because they didn't want anybody interfering with their already, like the lockdown they had on controlling all the minds and the people in the United States with the subliminal messages they were putting in movies and shit?
But you wonder if that's going on. Like, we're looking at this like it happened in the past.
It's
I wonder
going
if
on
people-
today. Yes. I'm trying to think what it's called. There's a thing that I can't think of the name of it now. There's an operation of putting all the CIA agents in all the media corporations. Operation Mockingbird. That's it. Operation Mockingbird. It's a real thing. And that's why all these, if you look at everywhere, CNN, NBC, ABC, Fox, it's all fucking CIA people. Tons of them in there.
Well, over on BTM, when I know Nicholas apparently worked for some Democratic organizations, and he was talking to us about how they used to send talking points out.
Oh, they still
Which
do.
is
They
why-
send approved talking points out, and that's people also read from. And you can see it when you play the stuff where it'll go over and over. It'll just keep saying this, different shows, different channels.
Yeah.
They just keep saying the same shit.
Yep, same. Like, who would say that phrase randomly? The same phrase that it's. What the fuck? Maybe, I mean, it's like we don't have control over anything anymore, so who cares? Maybe that's what they're trying to.
Oh, no, but it's because if you remember the progenitor of using media to control people and shape lies is Goebbels. And that if you repeat a lie enough times, people believe it to be true.
Even on a more personal level, if you have somebody close to you telling you you're this, you're this, you're this, you're right. You're going to start believing it. And I guess Goebbels just macroed it up to if you tell a whole, country or whatever. I mean, he was pretty good at his job. I'll give him that.
What happened there?
I don't know. I said Goebbels
In
was good at
response,
his job.
the CIA decided to launch its own program to explore the potential of mind control. Thus, Project MK Ultra was born in 1953, authorized by CIA Director Allen Dulles. The mission? To explore the darkest reaches of the human mind and develop techniques that can manipulate behavior, extract secrets, and create super soldiers who could carry out missions without question.
So let me ask you a question. This is more Mengele than Goebbels. I said this is more Mengele than Goebbels.
This would be like Mengele. I mean, Goebbels was more of what the Operation Mockingbird is and the repeat the lie over and over again type of thing, and what the media does, is Goebbels. And, but basically it's kind of weird because, the Nazis actually did base a lot of their programs and policies off of the Progressive Democratic Party in the 1920s and 30s. And so now it's kind of, you know, fitting that the Democrats basically are basing all their stuff off the Nazis. Kind of like that, the Kamala Harris thing about joy, whatever it is, something through joy, you know, win through joy or something. That is basically straight out of the Nazi playbook for the 1933 election. It's the same exact as Kamala's.
Germany in the 30s, that was the Weimar Republic, the generation, and wheelbarrows full of money to buy bread and stuff like that. Wasn't?
But this was in 33. It was, you know, that was in the, you know, Depression era, and then it started to get better kind of in the 30s, but it was still fucked up, and that's how Hitler, the Nazis ended up coming to power in 33, was because of, you know, convincing people.
They were getting squeezed by the Allies from World War One. Like France in particular, the other allies were like, well, let's give them a break. And France is like, no, fuck them. They're going to pay reparations.
It's kind of weird too. Reparations.
That's true.
And then now here, all the Democrats are screaming reparations. It's like weird. So it's like all these things, they might not be exactly the same, but, you know, history might not repeat, but it sure as fuck rhymes.
But see, again, the people of Germany were, Hitler wasn't paying the reparations. The people were paying them.
The people, yeah. Well,
and they got sick of it. And then Hitler, I don't know, it's YouTube. I don't want. He's like, fuck this shit. We're not doing that anymore. You say we can't have an army? Well, guess what? We're building an army. How do you like that? So it was, I don't know.
You know, I mean, and I don't know. It's possible that all of the death and destruction could have been avoided of World War II if, you know, people just said, all right, you know, because basically, like in the beginning, I mean, I don't know. In the beginning, they were just taking what was theirs back. You know,
right,
Rhineland.
Sure.
Yeah, the stuff that was taken away from them after, you know, at the end of World War One, and basically, you know, and then there's all that other thing. Like I think it was the Morgenthau Plan or something after World War II that basically caused Germany to, you know, the industrialization of Germany. That plan went into effect, and basically that's, you know, kind of what turned them into the shitbags that they are now, where they're afraid to do anything, and they're just basically like, you know, we can't have a culture because if we have a culture, it'll become Hitler again.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a student of history, but to me, I'm like, he had a good thing going, kind of made sense, but he didn't know when to stop.
Yeah, no, everything, you know, basically.
Okay, you got the, you know, western part of Austria back. They're German. They wanted to be part of Germany anyway. Great.
Poland, yeah, a lot of people don't even.
Czechoslovakia.
Poland was part. You know, Poland was part of the the Prussian Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and so you know, whatever. But the thing is, the Germans tried repeatedly to seek peace with England, and you know, before all the stuff that you know, Germany didn't. England and France declared war on Germany because of Poland. And they had no, you know, it wasn't like they could do anything. They weren't going to attack Germany or anything. They just declared war. So basically, that's really the start of World War III, was England and France declaring war on Germany.
From what I've read, you know, the Germans wanted to, in a nutshell, wanted to be German, but they wanted the English to be English as much. Like they didn't want to go over there and fuck with them.
They were all interrelated. If you're, you know, prior to the Tsar of, in World War One, the Tsar of Russia, the Kaiser of Germany, and the King of England were all cousins, first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know,
you can keep going back and back and back,
yeah.
And everything runs into back before. You know, I'm not a historian, but it all ties together.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And a lot of it is Rome's fault.
Well,
obviously
Greece
engaged
back there
in many facets of what is generally called the Cold War, which the communist policies forced upon us.
At the head of MKUltra were some of the most influential figures in the CIA. Leading the charge was Allen Dulles, the first civilian director of Central Intelligence. Born into a powerful family, Dulles was a master of espionage, having served as the head of the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in Switzerland during World War II. His tenure at the CIA was marked by aggressive covert operations, and he was deeply committed to ensuring that the U.S. remained ahead of the Soviets in every way, including psychological warfare.
Sidney Gottlieb was the most powerful, unknown American of the 20th century.
To bring MK Ultra to life, Dulles turned to Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA's chief chemist and a man who would earn the nickname Black Sorcerer for his willingness to push the boundary of science and ethics.
He was the person who carried out the most.
His name Gottlieb?
That's what he said, yeah.
I wonder what nationality he was.
Good play.
Hmm.
Ixnay.
That's very
intense
interesting.
and extreme experiments on human beings that have ever been conducted by any officer or agency of the U.S. government.
Born in 1918, Gottlieb was a brilliant toxicologist who quickly rose to the ranks of the CIA. He was fascinated by the possibilities of manipulating the human mind and believed that by breaking down the psyche, it could be rebuilt to serve the agency's needs. But MK Ultra's reach extended beyond the CIA's walls. Dr. Ewan Cameron, a prominent psychiatrist, was brought into the fold to conduct experiments that would become some of the most controversial aspects of the program. Cameron, originally from Scotland, had made a name for himself as a leading expert on mental illness.
His controversial research caught the attention of the CIA in the 50s, eventually being funded as part of MK Ultra.
His work at the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal was groundbreaking. Under MK Ultra, his methods became increasingly brutal. Cameron's theory of psychic driving involved breaking down a patient's mind through repeated messages and extreme electroshock therapy, all in the hope of reprogramming them.
Tell us about Dr. Ewan Cameron.
He wasn't liked by the patients.
Dr. Cameron's goal was to depattern them, to wipe out their memory.
Who was they?
Project MK Ultra
Like, how did
targeted a
people wind up?
broad range of.
I'm sorry, Jim. How do people
go ahead.
wind up in that project to be a test subject? Like,
I just think they pick people. I mean, they just go and randomly they probably
military?
I think they because what's his face? Charles Manson was part of this.
Oh,
so was the Unabomber. What's Ted Kaczynski? They did it to college students and stuff. They did it to whatever. They would say, come participate, and we'll pay you to participate in this study.
oh, I gotcha. All right.
So that's how they did. So yeah, that's what they did. That's how they got them.
Of subjects without their knowledge or consent, including prisoners lured with promises of reduced sentences, psychiatric patients subjected to extreme psychological and physical manipulation, and ordinary citizens unknowingly dosed with drugs in public settings. The program also involved college students in abusive studies, military personnel tested under the guise of research, individuals with substance use disorders, and marginalized groups. Even some CIA employees and their families were subjected to these experiments. These individuals were often chosen for their vulnerability, as they were seen as easy to manipulate and unlikely to resist or expose the abuses they endured.
We didn't have a choice. We couldn't say, no, we don't want this. It was, we were given medication and we had to take it.
Theodore Ted Kaczynski, a mathematical genius who would later become infamous
There
as
he
the
is.
Unabomber.
Yeah. I have his book right there.
I swear to
Very
God,
good
it's
read.
genius what he wrote.
It is. It's very
He's a
prescient.
fucking like a prophet. Yeah, I mean, not a prophet, but
Yeah, very, very prescient.
Yep.
Was one of the program's most notorious victims. In 1958, Kaczynski enrolled at Harvard University at the age of 16. It was there that he became involved in a series of brutal psychological experiments led by Dr. Henry Murray, who was funded in part by MK Ultra. These sessions, designed to break down the participants' egos, involved relentless psychological abuse, which many believe played a role in Kaczynski's later descent into violence.
It's like they pick people out of academic situations who are special. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. We were talking about Hitler earlier. Kaczynski, it's actually a kind of the same. Like, you had the right idea until you did this. Then you kind of went a little too far. Whitey Bulger? Okay.
Oh yeah, Whitey Bulger too. Yeah, forgot about him.
Unwitting participant was James Whitey Bulger, the notorious Boston gangster. While serving time in federal prison in the late 1950s, Bulger volunteered for what he was told was a research study that could reduce his sentence. What he didn't know was that he was about to become a guinea pig in one of MKUltra's most notorious subprojects. Over 18 months, Bulger was given LSD and other drugs causing terrifying hallucinations and a descent into madness. These experiences haunted him for the rest of his life and contributed to the paranoid, violent persona that would define his later years. But perhaps the most tragic case connected to MKUltra is that of Frank Olson.
The Frank Olson family has lived here in Frederick, Maryland since 1950. Olson was
My
a
family
top-level
grew up.
biochemist at nearby Fort Detrick. In 1953, November, Alice Olson was told simply that her husband had fallen or jumped out of a 10th-story window at the...
Wait a minute. Who is this reporter? This is a very young reporter, like Sam Donaldson. Is this Sam Donaldson?
I don't know. I'm just freaking out because Frederick, Maryland is where I raised my family. And Fort Detrick was half a mile away.
Look at that. Is that Sam Donaldson? Like
Maybe.
really young?
I can see that.
in New York City.
Olson, who worked in the CIA Special Operations Division, had no idea that he would become a test subject in the program he had unwittingly helped to develop. During a retreat in 1953, Olson was secretly dosed with LSD by Sidney Gottlieb. The effects were devastating. Olson began to suffer from severe paranoia and depression, questioning his work and the moral implications of what he had been in.
Wait, from one dose?
That's yeah. Fucking
I
John
mean, maybe
Lennon dosed Ringo Starr. He didn't fucking go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they had some really good shit. I don't know.
Did you ever dabble in that, Jim? You ever get involved in that stuff? I never did.
I experimented with it in high school.
Did you? I had friends that did, and I was the guy that watched to make sure they were okay. I was never brave enough to do that shit.
I had a couple bad experiences with it.
Mhm.
You know,
Are you glad that you did it? Was it like a
I don't know if I'd say I'm glad. I mean, I think it opens your mind a little bit, but
Yeah.
you know, about stuff. But then again, I don't know. You know,
you're a
think money-
musician?
Yeah,
Always hear,
Yeah, I think I would say that if someone wanted to try some kind of stuff like that, I would go with like either mushrooms or peyote or something, and I stay away from the. You don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
Would you suggest that you had like friends around you, or just does it not matter?
What do you mean? Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it alone.
That's what I meant.
No, you never do it alone. No.
I was the guy that was with you when you were
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Involved in.
CIA is very bumbling, but in this case, I think there's another possibility that there may have been some intent. And I'd like to be reassured that there was no intent to kill my father. I think that is an open question.
9 days later, Olson fell to his death from a 13th floor window
shit.
at the Statler Hotel in New York City. The CIA ruled it to be self-inflicted, but the circumstances were suspicious. Many believe that Olson was murdered to keep the secrets of MKUltra from being exposed.
Oh, that's possible.
Decades later, his family would fight for justice, uncovering more details about the program and Olson's role in it, further damaging the CIA's reputation.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I just realized something. That was the son, right? Talking?
Yeah.
You know who that is? Do you remember the guy whose wife was killed on 9/11? He worked for George Bush. He was like the attorney Not the Attorney Solicitor General Olson. That's him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Huh. You know, I'm getting yanked into all this stuff.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, kinda, I guess, the more you learn about it.
CIA's reputation.
Do you have any follow side effects and since the
Yes.
test took place, and what have they been?
Well, quite a bit because I had to quit school. I was hospitalized when I had the LSD experience, but that wasn't the end of it. I had to go through 6.5 months of psychotherapy. I was referred to a psychiatrist the next week, and that was very expensive for a student.
By the early 1970s, MK Ultra had officially ended, and CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all documents related. Thousands of files were shredded, and it seemed that the full extent of MK Ultra's horrors would never be known. However, in 1974, a discovery was made that would unravel the secrecy surrounding MK Ultra. An investigative journalist's Freedom of Information Act request led to the discovery of a set of financial records that had been overlooked during the destruction order. These records were housed in a budgetary archive separate from the operational files and detailed payments and fund allocations for various MK Ultra subprojects. It was an accounting mistake.
That's the old saying, follow the money.
Always the answer to everything, Jim. Always. Follow the money.
A clerical error that preserved these documents and provided the crucial evidence needed to expose MK Ultra to the public.
The preservation of a free society than holding the police, including the federal police, to the strictest standards, lest we slip into the practices of a police state.
This accidental discovery set off a chain reaction. As more information came to light, Congress began to investigate. In 1975, the Church Committee was formed, chaired by Senator Frank Church, to examine the abuses of the CIA and other intelligence agencies. The revelations were shocking. The hearings uncovered the full scope of MK Ultra's unethical experiments and exposed the CIA's willingness to exploit vulnerable populations for its own gain.
Though this is a decision for the committee to make, I am mindful of the sensitive nature of much of the material that we will be obtaining.
My recollection is that when the order was issued to do away with these bacteriological agents and toxins, that Mr. Karamessinas and I agreed that we had no choice but to comply. In fact, when I say no choice, I don't mean to indicate that we wanted any other choice.
The exposure of MK Ultra left a lasting impact on public trust in government institutions. The program's ethical breaches were severe: lack of informed consent, exploitation of prisoners and mental patients, and the infliction of lasting psychological harm. The revelations led to widespread outrage and calls for greater oversight of intelligence agencies. MK Ultra serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power. It highlights the need for transparency, accountability, and the protection of individual rights. The program's legacy continues to influence debates over government ethics and human rights, as well as the conduct of psychological research.
Did you disclose to President Nixon, from the time he took office and thereafter, the fact that the CIA had a program which included the offensive use capability to use offensively biological devices in order to kill people?
The tragic stories of individuals like Frank Olson, Ted Kaczynski, and Whitey Bulger are testaments to the human cost of the program. They remind us that when ethics are...
Guy's name was Ted Olson. Ted Olson. He worked for the Bush administration.
What's interesting to me about all this is so much manpower and thought and expertise was put into this. It's like, well, it's terrible, but I don't know. I mean, was there a reason they did this? Is it worth doing what they did? Was there a higher goal they were fighting against that maybe it was worth it? I don't know.
Well, it's just like anything else they do. If they think the other guy's doing it, they want to do it first. Like that
so
was
it
the
was
whole
like,
push. That was the whole push for the Manhattan Project. Was they swore that the Germans were developing nuclear bombs.
well, like the moon landing. Same with us and the Soviets, like the space race. Well, they're doing it. We got to do it better. But for what? Like what?
Competition, I guess.
Are abandoned in the pursuit of power, the consequences can be devastating and they can linger for decades.
I do not recall having briefed President Nixon on that or several other programs, but you will recall, Mr. Swartz, that he was once vice president for 8 years and was privy to a lot of things that were going on in the agency then, which he carried over to the presidency, so that what the degree to which he was aware of this program, I simply don't know.
The legacy of MKUltra should serve as a cautionary tale, one that reminds us of the importance of safeguarding human dignity.
See, that guy was trying to put the blame on Nixon because he was Eisenhower's vice president.
I'm Team Nixon. So
yeah, but Eisenhower Nixon wasn't at that time. The vice president wasn't doing shit. That was just a figurehead thing, really. Do nothing. And then he lost Nixon to Kennedy, and then Kennedy was president, and then Kennedy got assassinated, and then Johnson got reelected in 1964, correct?
I don't think he ever got. Yeah,
64.
Kennedy got killed in 1963. He got right, and then he wouldn't run again in 1968. He said, "I don't want to run."
So there was 8 years of someone else in there, and then so Mondale's trying to blame it on Nixon when they were. Yeah, no, fuck you.
Everybody blames everything on Nixon.
Yeah,
he was.
The principles of transparency and accountability.
Sir, these activities, as I recall it, Senator Mondale, started back in the early 50s. I must confess that when I became director, I do not recall going back into the legislative or legal history of it. I simply had accepted the fact over the years that the agency was expected to maintain defensive capabilities and be in the vanguard of these exotic things.
Now that you've made it to the end of this video, I have a question for you. Have you subscribed? If not, why not? It's free and will help you learn.
You girl.
Proven conspiracies. Sounds like a good channel.
Real quick, I remember politicians like Nixon and Carter, not so much, but now earlier we were looking at Biden and Kamala. It's like the whole. It's crazy how far we've fallen, I guess. I don't know.
He's got another good one here called
that was a great video. Yeah, play what? Yeah.
Oh, this is Eric Hunley.
Who?
Eric Hunley.
I got nothing.
The guy that did the had the Kennedy stuff we were watching.
Oh, all right.
He does it on America's Untold Stories. I didn't know he had a. Oh, so let's see what we got here.
Imagine walking into a bar in 1950 San Francisco, enjoying a drink, perhaps meeting a charming woman, and heading to a nearby apartment. But what if I told you that what happens next isn't just a wild night out, but the beginning of a secret government experiment? Welcome to Operation Midnight Climax, one of the darkest chapters in CIA history.
Have you heard of this, Jim? I've never heard of this.
40 years ago, and the way
I'm pretty sure this is when they were using hookers and stuff to like. I think this might be the one where they had cameras set up watching people in hotels that they were giving acid to, and then just watching what happened to them. I think, or this could be the one with the prostitutes, but they were on a whole bunch of stuff.
wake of Watergate, the United States Senate created a special committee to look into the activities of U.S. intelligence services.
The 1950s and 60s were times of great tension and rapid scientific progress. The Cold War had the United States and the Soviet Union locked in a fierce battle for global dominance, a battle that extended beyond nuclear arms to the very minds of men. Amidst this backdrop, the CIA launched MKUltra, a top-secret program aimed at mastering mind control. But among the many disturbing sub-projects of MKUltra, one stands out for its sheer audacity: Operation Midnight Climax.
Well, the committee met for 16 months. It reviewed more than 10,000 documents. It called 800 witnesses before the committee and its staff.
A whistleblower, a former Army counterintelligence captain, provided details in 1970 in a published account that was published by the Washington Monthly of a nationwide Army domestic intelligence program.
MK Ultra was born out of fear that the Soviets were making advances of psychological warfare that could give them a strategic edge.
You don't
I gotta say, Eric Hunley's voice is very soothing. And
I felt bad because I saw that girl that was talking, and I'm like, she's kind of cute. I didn't give a shit what she was. I'm a bad person, I guess.
maybe I'm gonna let this play. I gotta go grab some chips.
All right.
The CIA's response? To experiment with mind-altering drugs like LSD, but they needed a place where they could conduct these experiments covertly. San Francisco, with its vibrant nightlife and countercultural scene, provided the perfect cover. In 1953, under the direction of Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, MK Ultra officially began. As part of this program, George Hunter White, a seasoned narcotics officer with a flair for undercover work, was brought in to run Operation Midnight Climax. White's job? To establish a safe house where unsuspecting men would be lured, drugged, and observed, all without their consent.
Members of Congress didn't know anything about it. It had been secret running for about a decade, and the whole purpose was to monitor political dissent in the United States, those who voiced opposition to the U.S. domestic and foreign policies.
George Hunter White was no ordinary CIA operative. Born in 1906, White had a career that read like a pulp novel. He started as a journalist, moved into law enforcement, and served as an agent in the Office of Strategic Services during World War II. Known for his aggressive and unorthodox methods, White was the perfect choice for an operation as morally ambiguous as Midnight Climax. White's experience in the Federal Bureau of Narcotics made him an expert in undercover operations. He knew the criminal underworld.
The Federal Bureau of Narcotics. That was before the DEA, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds better.
I liked it. I like the Department of War or Ministry of War. That's good.
He knew how to manipulate people, and most importantly, he wasn't afraid to bend the rules. When the CIA came calling, White was ready to take on a new challenge, one that would push the boundaries of ethics and legality.
Dr. William Frosch of Bellevue's Psychiatry Department.
Here at Bellevue, in the last
Bellevue.
Oh. Uh-oh. What did I do?
I don't know.
I fucked up. Sorry, everybody. I fucked
You
something
drop a
up.
chip?
No, I was trying to make sure. Okay. I thought I had something set wrong.
large number of admissions of patients who come into the hospital, usually shortly after they've taken lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD.
Operation Midnight Climax began with the establishment of a fake brothel in a discreet San Francisco apartment. White, with the help of the CIA, set up the safe house with two-way mirrors and hidden recording devices. The idea was simple: lure men into the brothel, dose them with LSD, and observe their behavior. All of this was done, of course, without the subject's knowledge. To make this work, White recruited local prostitutes, paying them to bring men back to the apartment. These women were aware that something was going on, but they likely had no idea the full scope of the operation. Once inside, the men were secretly given LSD, and the experiment began.
And you have another revelation, the third one now, to say that there are some intelligence abuses out there, and Congress doesn't seem to know much about them.
The experiments conducted during Operation Midnight Climax were as unethical as they were secretive. The men who entered the brothel thought they were just having a wild night out, but they were actually part of a government experiment. The LSD was slipped into their drinks, and as the drug took effect, White and his team watched from behind the mirror. White's notes from these sessions provide a chilling look at the CIA's willingness to cross ethical boundaries. He observed how the men reacted.
When the CIA kills people, of course they're going to cross ethical boundaries.
Right. Dosing somebody with LSD is nothing compared to what other stuff they're doing.
I mean, yeah, didn't they want to try and dose? They wanted to try and dose Castro, I think, and some other people.
They did all kinds of shit with the cat. I used to listen to G. Gordon Liddy. He had a radio show I loved. He told all kinds of crazy stories that I actually believe.
Probably true.
To the drugs, how their behavior changed, and how they interacted with the prostitutes. Every detail was meticulously recorded with the hope that this data could be used to develop new mind control techniques. But it wasn't just about the drugs. The prostitutes were instructed to engage the men in conversation.
Kevin must have left. He wanted me to go get chips, and now he's gone.
Honestly, if somebody came up to me straight up and just said, "Oh, well, you're going to go in this bar with a bunch of strippers with C cups, and we're going to dose your drinks," I might have volunteered. Like, sure, that's good.
Yeah, they probably could have found people just by saying, "Hey, you can bang these chicks as long as you drink."
Right.
This.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all right. The camera's on me. Oh, sure.
To manipulate them and to see how easily their behavior could be influenced. The goal was to understand how LSD could be used to extract information or even control an individual's actions. What the CIA learned from these experiments would later be applied in other equally disturbing projects.
And then finally, in December of 1974, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh published a front page above the fold article in the New York Times, alleging that the CIA had developed a domestic surveillance program.
And what of George White, the man who helped the agency in so many of its programs? He would retire here to Stinson Beach, California. And shortly before his death, he wrote to his boss at the CIA, Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, and summed up his career by saying, "It was fun, fun, fun. Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat, steal, deceive, rape, and pillage with the sanction and blessing of the All-Highest?"
The ethical concerns surrounding Operation Midnight Climax are staggering. The men who were drugged had no idea they were part of an experiment which violates the most basic principles of informed consent. This lack of consent wasn't just unethical, it was illegal. But it wasn't just the subjects who were exploited. The prostitutes used in the operation were also victims of the CIA's manipulations. They were complicit, yes, but they were also pawns in a much larger game, one they likely didn't fully understand.
That's a little sexist.
The legal implications of the operation are equally troubling. The use of illegal drugs, the violation of privacy, and the exploitation of vulnerable individuals all raise serious questions about the legality of the CIA's actions.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like an experiment that was ran on the entire population of the world with something that they were all forced to take or tried to be forced to take and wasn't fucking tested and, yeah. So.
These concerns would later come to the forefront as more information about MK Ultra was exposed.
Hold up, pause, Jim. What you just said is actually interesting. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but this is all right. I'm starting to go woo-woo. It's like it's been building up to this. Is that okay?
No.
That was sorry, Brittany.
We have been victimized by excessive secrecy, not only with respect to the failure of the Congress in the past to exercise proper surveillance over intelligence activities, but also excessive secrecy has created this kind of mischief within the executive branch.
The psychological impact of these experiments on the subject was profound. Many of the men experienced intense hallucinations, paranoia, and confusion. For some, these effects were temporary, but for others, the trauma of the experience may have left lasting scars.
Here is part of an interview with the subject just before LSD is to be administered.
My husband is an employee here at the VA, and he told me that they were looking for normal people, and I volunteered.
Because these men were never informed of the true nature of their experiences, it's impossible to know the full extent of the damage caused by Operation Midnight Climax. There were no follow-up studies, no psychological support offered, and no accountability from the CIA. The men were simply left to deal with the aftermath on their own. This lack of accountability is perhaps the most disturbing aspect of the operation. The CIA conducted these experiments with no regard for the long-term consequences, both for the subjects and for society at large. It's a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the potential for abuse in covert operations.
Well,
tell me.
Well, I just couldn't. I couldn't possibly tell you.
Operation Midnight Climax continued until 1966, when growing concerns about its legality and ethics led to its termination. By that time, the operation had already become controversial within the CIA, and the broader MK-Ultra program was beginning to attract unwanted attention.
It's here. Can't you feel it? This whole room, this everything is in color, and I can feel the air. I can see it. I can see all the molecules.
That was a picture of James Bond, by the way, sitting on the bed.
Sean Connery. Yeah, that's
Sean
what-
Connery.
Sean Connery. Yeah.
The public exposure of MK-Ultra in the 1970s, including Operation Midnight Climax, led to widespread outrage. Congressional hearings such as the Church Committee revealed the full extent of the CIA's unethical experiments.
You know how many people went to jail?
No, I don't.
None. Zero.
Really?
Yeah, Congress, bunch of outrage. Nobody goes to jail. That's how it works here. We're outraged.
Leading to significant changes in how the agency conducted its operations.
He injects the drug into monkeys to find out whether he can duplicate man's LSD experience in the animal closest to man. Dr. Jarvik says that the LSD effects can be seen in the rhesus monkey, yet LSD remains an enigma.
The backlash from these revelations forced the CIA to adopt new ethical guidelines and oversight mechanisms to prevent similar abuses in the future. But for those who were affected by Operation Midnight Climax, the damage had already been done.
You have to approach LSD with trembling and with fear and with love to use it for harmony and beauty. What's going on in the United States today is a revolution in consciousness facilitated by these psychedelic chemicals.
George Hunter White retired.
Kind of weird, too. The CIA was using LSD for MK-Ultra and all this stuff. And at the same time, Timothy Leary, I think his name was, right?
Yeah.
He was out there trying to get a bunch of people to do LSD. Was he part of this? Was he part of their operation to try and get the hippies to do LSD because they thought it would, like, screw up the anti-war movement?
He might have been a pawn in all of it. I mean, there was, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking about what you said a few minutes ago. I'm thinking, like, how are people going to look back at the COVID thing? Like, is that the biggest mind control experiment of all time? Can you shut down an entire planet if you do this? I never really thought about it that way, but I don't know. Hard not to think about it that way.
From the CIA in 1966, leaving behind a legacy that is as controversial as it is complex. On the one hand, He was a skilled operative who played a crucial role in one of the CIA's most infamous programs. On the other hand, his actions contributed to the ethical and legal controversies that ultimately led to the program's termination. White's involvement in Operation Midnight Climax serves as a stark reminder of the potential for abuse in covert operations. His willingness to cross ethical boundaries in the name of national security. Today, George Hunter White is remembered not just as a CIA operative, but as a symbol of the moral ambiguities that can arise when the pursuit of knowledge and control takes precedence over human rights and dignity. As we look back at this period, it's crucial to remember the importance of transparency, informed consent, and accountability in all areas of research and government operations. The legacy of Operation Midnight Climax isn't just a story from the past, it's a warning for the future.
Definitely. Well, I would tell everyone, whoever's watching, to go on over to this Proven Conspiracies and subscribe, because it's Eric Hundley, and he's good.
Those are great videos. Really, really well done.
Yeah. So
makes you think.
Now we can learn about why climate change is bullshit.
Well, hold on though.
Hello, everyone.
We just watched though for a minute.
Okay.
So do you think that there is ever a reason to experiment on a few people for the betterment of, like your country, or no? I mean, that's kind of a grade school question, but that's what they're doing. They're just picking people out and like, oh, well, let's test this out and see if it'll help us to defeat this person or that person.
I think you got to have informed consent.
Okay.
Well,
they should have told me about the hookers. I probably would have signed it.
I'm just saying, I mean, that's what the whole, like, the Nuremberg trial, the Nuremberg laws and all that.
Yeah. Yep. It's weird. Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Just it's like thinking about things that we're not supposed to talk about. And they try to block you from using, past experiences or history to discuss today's issues.
Well, because they want to silence people. They don't want people to question authority.
Yeah.
So they'll label anybody, like anti-vax, or like that video we were watching with the guy saying that lethal force should be used for people that are anti-vax.
But who would be behind that? Like who? It's not that guy. I can't imagine the guy that's saying it. He's just saying what
he's the guy that the government would use as the scientist, saying that it was necessary,
But dumb question, but why? Why would they want?
I mean, you do realize, like, do you remember the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman?
Oh, yeah.
That program, like that policy of nuking or whatever, or using not a nuke, but one of those bombs on a city or town to kill a virus, that exists.
I'm a sweet summer child, Jim.
But I mean, does the president have the authority to do that? No, I don't think so. I don't think the president had, but then again, Obama was able to kill a couple American citizens overseas. So I don't know. Maybe they could kill, 10,000 American citizens because, there's a virus that's like Ebola or something is breaking out, like some crazy virus that's airborne is in a small town somewhere, and they could and the only way to make sure that the whole, like they, just like the movie, basically.
Yeah. But if the whole thing is like you said, which I agree with, always follow the money, always, always, always. Where's the money in? Well, never mind. I'm sure I answered my question before
So anyway, this is that guy that has the Observer Ranch, Ben Davidson, and his wife and kids.
Oh,
and
all right.
everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm Ben Davidson. This is my family. My wife and I founded Space Weather News and the Mobile Observatory Project. I'm the author of the textbook Weatherman's Guide to the Sun. I also have peer-reviewed papers on solar terrestrial physics, and right now, I am 100% devoted to making the seemingly complex topic of solar forcing of the terrestrial climate as absolutely simple for you to understand as possible. If you have been following here, and the climate science the mainstream media seems to be refusing to cover, then 2019 was an interesting year. Following bombshells in 2018 from Princeton regarding the cooling potential of clouds, which makes us think about our cosmic ray cloud-inducing future, and from Yale regarding the cold climate bomb waiting to be unleashed by the Arctic, 2019 saw hundreds of university researchers breaking stride from the mainstream narrative on man-made global warming. Some of the more notable ones were from Harvard, which jumped in on both the oceans and the atmosphere. The American Geophysical Union devoted an enormous amount of time to significant solar climate forcing at their fall meeting. It was a quasi-taboo topic just a few years ago. We heard the World Meteorological Organization, which is the daddy of the IPCC, condemn the climate extremism as being factually wrong, unscientific, akin to religious extremism, and bordering on terrorism. The basis of the lack of factual correctness comes with confusion between scenarios and predictions. The IPCC does not do the latter, and in fact says it is impossible, something NASA's guidelines say as well. Too many moving parts we just don't understand. And all of this comes ahead of the 2022 major IPCC climate report. It'll be the first one ever to account for solar particle forcing and cosmic rays. Here today, we are going to explain to you what's happening in the climate game, especially since the news won't seem to report it. We'll show you why this was a necessary change made by the IPCC and the rationale behind the change. Then, we are going to examine what's still missing and the exact roadmap for mainstream climate science to cross the finish line. Let's begin with carbon dioxide. This is changing due to human activity and natural variability to the tune of parts per million. Now, this tiny fraction has long been believed to have great power over the climate due to a number of closed system experiments done in the lab in the past. But these don't mimic the Earth, as this is not at all a closed system. Ergo, the recent IPCC changes. Moving up to solar irradiance, the light of the sun. It changes by 0.1% or by the thousandths over the 11-year sunspot cycle. This is still 100 to 1,000 times greater variability than what we're seeing with carbon dioxide, but somehow still comes up short in the models. Well, now fast forward to today, and we're forgetting the fractions, because what's going into the models into the future is going up by orders of magnitude when it comes to particle variation, and we are still to this day discovering exactly how these particles are interacting with aerosols in the atmosphere, how they affect atmospheric electricity and cloud formation. The first aspect of this is cosmic rays, and
So basically this video is explaining how it's the rays from the sun that are causing all the problem, not so much problem, but causing the climate issues. Anyway, I've got to take my dog out real quick, so I'm going to play a video that's about 6 minutes long while I'm gone for everyone's amusement. All right. His cybernetic embryo was sent to Earth from the planet Perdani, along with his brother Salamandroid. Can Cyberfrog defeat the Vespas and save humanity? Or will he be distracted by fried chicken and watching TV with Heather? Ethan Van Sciver and All Caps Comics presents Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Available today at the Cyberfrog eBay store. Or go to Indiegogo to order Cyberfrog Red Extermination. This is the Cyberfrog Blood Honey chromium cover. This book also comes in many other covers which are displayed in the video playing right now. There are many line art covers along with acetate and other chromium covers, perfect bound books, along with other books such as Unforgettable Tales, Heartsick Horrors, The Amphibionics, and The Diary of Heather Swain, The Art of John Malin, and The Art of Shane Davis. How it all began. Cyberfrog number 1, Blood Honey. Sky is on fire. Part 1. All Caps Comics presents Cyberfrog Blood Honey. Written and drawn by Ethan Van Sciver. Colors by Kyle Ritter. Letters by Eric Weathers. It starts out in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. A spacecraft crashes to Earth. Alien being in the spacecraft merges its cybernetics with a frog, creating Cyberfrog. His name is Trick Ron, protector of Earth. He is the ambassador of the Phoebe, the peoples of Perdani. Cybernetics are activated as he learns his capabilities. He is told the story of the Vispis and what his goal is to defend the planet. He meets his brother, Salamandroid, whose name is Daduran Ran. His job is to protect his brother, to ensure his mission to defend the planet. Over time, they discover the people of Earth are ungrateful, but that will not stop them from fulfilling their destiny. We meet Heather Swain. She's being harassed by some weirdo, probably a leftist SJW. It's a very beautiful picture, by the way. Cyberfrog in action, saving Heather. The Vispis Invasion, Part 2. We find Cyberfrog's mother, the cybernetic spacecraft that birthed him, in the swamp. Cyberfrog is online, roaming the city, looking for evil. Cyberfrog returns home to find Heather watching TV and eating chicken fried, his favorite food, fried chicken. Salamandroid and Cyberfrog hanging out with Heather watching TV. The Vispis Invasion. Humans are attacked and devoured by the Vispis. They turn their blood into honey to consume and feed their young. A beautiful shot of a Vispis devouring a human. We see a human being converted into blood honey. We also see Cyberfrog and Salamandroid chasing Rumblebee throughout the city. Here we see the United States being overrun by the Vispis, while Salamandroid and Cyberfrog continue to fight the Pollen 5 gang. More images of Cyberfrog and Salamandroid fighting the Vispis. Cyberfrog's cybernetics fail. He falls into a coma. Years pass and we find Heather and her daughter, Lily, in the woods. Cyberfrog is reunited with Heather and Lily. Final page is a beautiful picture of Cyberfrog holding a murder hornet. This is Salamandroid Death Sting, another comic available from All Caps Comics. It's a continuation of the story of Cyberfrog. First page opens up with some things happening back on the planet Perandi. It goes into the backstory of the first attempt to send protectors to Earth that ended up with Scorpion after he killed his brother. It shows Salamandroid fighting some of the Pollen 9 gang while Cyberfrog was inside of his coma. More beautiful images from inside Salamandroid Death Sting showing him fighting some murder hornets and other monsters. Salamandroid facing off with Scorpion. This page shows Salamandroid meeting the Menipede, Shockroach, Earwig, Mexin, and Rumblebee. The book reveals important information about Cyberfrog and Salamandroid, their real names, their species, their homeworld, their height, weight, and abilities. A page covering Heather, Lily, Rumblebee, Shockroach, Scorpion, and Menipede. Page covers Earwig, Spite, and Dystopia. The books Heartsick Horror and Amphibionics 1 and 2, which also build out the world and backstory. And picking all these books up, the frog looks like something you might be interested in. I think the artwork is very beautiful. The colors just pop off the page. The story is very engaging. It has you feeling for Cyberfrog along with Heather and her daughter, going right along with them as they go on their journey to try and save the planet from the Vispis invasion. I think Tim Van Sciver did a great job refining this character from where it started back in the 90s. Blood Honey and all its variant covers, along with Wreck Planet and its variant covers, are available today at the Cyberfrog eBay store. Cyberfrog 3 Red Extermination, along with Rainbow the... I don't know what happened. See how the video got all fucked up here?
A little bit. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Somehow that happened in StreamYard. Like, because I recorded the video and then you have to download it from StreamYard.
Mm.
So either the upload going up to StreamYard was fucked up. Like, that's what I think it was. Maybe my internet was fucky, and so it messed it up. Because my video is fine because like your camera is recorded locally with StreamYard, and then they merge your, you know what I mean? And
it's an artistic choice, Jim.
No, it's fucky. Brute and the Fearsome comic, also from All Caps Comics, are available at Indiegogo if it's something you're interested in. Thanks for stopping by. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Jim, and I'm going to tell you what I think about comics.
I unironically thought that was great. because you're not trying to go, badmouth anybody. You're not trying to hype anybody. You're just like, I read it and here's what it is.
That's what I try to do. I try to be fair.
Yep. All right. Well, so I have to share something that I did.
Oh, cool.
You good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully, I won't hate this. Give me a minute. So this is a song that I wrote.
Okay, cool.
Gonna tell you a story about an old wasted man. Ran with the Reno gang, held the road in his hand. Wide open country, gave him all he would land. Timid should turn a blind ear, but the wicked will understand. Gather round, gather round. Settled up in Gallatin.
Did you write the music and the words, or just the words?
Both the music and the words.
Drank a little whiskey to steady the ship. Riding on through Carson, dust flying off the plains, rolling out, rolling out. Boarded the engine and I let the bullets fly. That woman scream unnerved me, and the old man had to die. Willie loaded up the cash, then we leapt to the sky and rode away. I can hear death following me, the sound of the gunfire, the rhythm of the street. My cousin died staring at the wrong side of the gun, and the sheriff got lucky and mama lost a son. We kept riding. By the hand of the deputy, my uncle's time was done, and the once mighty Jackson gang was a posse of one. And I kept riding. I kept riding. All a man has is what he's earned. Could be money, fame, or women, hard lessons learned. You know, I did lot of taking, 'cause I had nothing to give. So let the cold ground judge me, bear me with my kin, broken down, broken down.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thanks for letting me play it. Little country western song. All right, Jim.
So
I'm gonna get out.
this is a long way to
What's
say.
up?
I gotta get out.
Impulse.
I got a
or
meeting
Flash.
work in 7 hours, so I'm
For
gonna.
whom?
Okay, I'm gonna end this in a
The
minute.
length of
I'm just
time
waiting
could be
to see if
drawn out by
Ethan
the fact
plays
that
my
they
thing.
experience it differently.
Oh, all
because
right.
They move so
Hang out.
quickly.
Just
You
for a
can
second.
get so much from Stan. I'm enough to complain this. That's a bad interview on his wacky.
Realize easy.
It's gonna, there's no weapon now.
I don't think so.
Genuine.
With
Anyway.
all these fucks
All right. Well,
that are just
we'll do this. I'm going to do a quick thing here to play on the way out.